I remember the incident as if it was yesterday. It was Wilson High School's homecoming football game against crosstown rival Pauley High School. It was the day before Halloween, so students dressed up in costumes. It was a sold-out crowd. And although Wilson lost to Pauley, it didn't dampen the spirits of the students. And when the game ended, a sold-out game, the crowd started to dissipate and leave the stadium, going to the sidewalk immediately outside the football arena. It was at that time a young man named Tommy Vincent, a gang member, came across two people that he perceived as a gang rival. He passed them at first and turned around and they exchanged words that amounted to a threat. And Tommy Vincent took out a gun and he fired at least 3 times. And we know he fired at least 3 times because he struck each one of his gang rivals once. And a third bullet missed them entirely and entered the body of a young 16-year-old girl named Melody Ross, ending her life. Now, Melody Ross was not gang involved in any way, shape, or form. She was a young Cambodian American. Her family left the killing fields of Cambodia to come here to Long Beach to find a better life. She was an honor student. She was on the track team. She was the pole vaulter on the track team. Just 16 years old. Died that night from gang violence. It was the night before Halloween when Melody Ross died. She died wearing a Supergirl costume. It was the first time her family had let her go to a football game because it was homecoming and the night before Halloween. Well, that event, as tragic as it was, of course, woke a number of us up and made us think about the gang problem here in Long Beach in new ways. The city of Long Beach has had court orders against our gangs for many, many years, 15 years prior to my election. But those court orders were simply pieces of paper that were stored somewhere at City Hall or given to a handful of gang detectives who were asked to enforce those gang court orders. Some of the gang members would crumple them up and throw them on the ground after they were served because they knew the police department did not have an effective way of enforcing those gang court orders. Until after my election, when one gang detective had the idea, why don't we gather the information in a court order? What the terms of the court order are. Gang members can't congregate in public. They can't be there late at night. There's a curfew involved. They can't display gang signs or symbols. They can't be in the presence of anyone displaying gang signs or symbols. It was a very burdensome order, but it wasn't being enforced. And he said, what if we took that order, using Laserfiche and partnering with Laserfiche, made it available not just to gang detectives, but to all patrol officers in the city of Long Beach, so that from their police unit they could quickly identify who's on the injunction, what the terms are, what area it applies to, even have the most recent booking photo of the gang members who have been served on the injunction. What we saw is that in a very short period of time, the number of gang court order arrests dramatically increased, and the amount of gang-related crime dramatically decreased. The chart you're looking at right now shows a glimpse of what happened. From 2009, the year before I was elected, we arrested people for violating the gang injunctions, a total of 35 people that year. The next year it was 140 people. The year after that, 181. The year after that, 269. That's a 760% increase in gang court order arrests. And it did not happen because we had more police on the streets. In fact, during this period of time, the number of police officers in the Long Beach Police Department dropped by 20%. It's amazing to think that we could have that kind of increase in productivity with 20% fewer officers. The media took notice. The media actually talked about this and gave Laserfiche the credit. Using Laserfiche, officers could share information with one another, enforce the gang injunction, and it reduced in 1 year, from 2009 to 2010, it reduced all gang-related shootings by over 13% and gang-related murders by over 50%. Amazing success. I want to take a moment right now to thank the men and women of Laserfiche and the Long Beach Police Department for an incredible success that resulted not just in immediate reduction in violence, but last year, 2017, Long Beach had the lowest number of gang-related murders and the lowest number of total murders in the last 50 years here in Long Beach. So thank you, Laserfiche. Join me in giving them applause. The other thing that our great success with our gang suppression strategy did was it gave us the opportunity to focus on the gang problem from a holistic approach. You know, our success in fighting gangs gave us the opportunity to look at why people join gangs to begin with. We could focus on intervention efforts now. We could focus on rehabilitation efforts. When a gang member is ready to leave the gang life, we need to be there ready to help them. And it was only because of our successful relationship with Laserfiche we were able to do this. You know, at this conference, you're going to hear a lot about people saving money. You're going to hear about people saving time. The city of Long Beach is here to tell you Laserfiche has helped us save lives. We're very, very proud of that. You know, we also took time to look at the gang problem from a systemic point of view. Gang members change after they join the gang. There's a change in how they look. The number of tattoos they have change. The people are not the same as the gang consumes them. That told us we have to get to them before they get involved in gangs. What if you could go back in time? What if you could go back in time to the person's moment when they left school or dropped out? What if you could go back further to the point that they started skipping school in 4th and 5th grade, which resulted in the dropout? What if you could go back and provide services at the earliest point of time? You know, in my 8 years as city prosecutor, I've learned a lot. Although we have an adversarial system where two sides square off against each other, and we call that, the outcome of that we call justice. I learned that the defendant most often is not the enemy. I do prosecute violent gang members, but I also prosecute a lot of people that just made a mistake or in the wrong place at the wrong time and did the wrong thing. They're not the real enemy. The real enemy is drug addiction. It's alcoholism. The real enemy is undiagnosed or untreated mental disease. The real enemy is poverty. It's unemployment. It's lack of education. It's illiteracy. It's exposure to trauma at early ages. We started to think, what if we use that same concept of pushing information to patrol officers? What if we use that same strategy to empower them to provide services to people that need it the most? What if we could empower police officers at the moment they encounter someone to offer services, to connect that person to mental health assistance, to stabilize that person on medication, take them to a substance abuse clinic where they can get checked in immediately for live-in drug treatment or outpatient treatment if they need it? What if we could do that? I think we could transform the way police do business. I think we could produce better results, and I think we could lower crime here in Long Beach. Policing would look very different if we were able to do this. We're trying to do that here in Long Beach, and I hope to do it with Laserfiche in the future. You know, it's been said that the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. We all know the day we were born, we celebrate it annually. How many of us know our why? It was a tragic event that helped me learn my why. Let this conference be the moment in time where you find out your reason if you don't already have one. Or it's okay if your reason changes over time, but I'm here for a reason. I know that. Chris Wacker is here for a reason. You are here for a reason. Let this be the time and place. Let Long Beach be the location. Let Laserfiche Empower be the moment where you explore and develop and improve your why. Thank you very much.